Meet Pat Craig. He is a carpenter from Fredericton. He's been training for 2 years and competing for the last year and a half. But before that, he was a completely different person.
It was a train wreck. I was an alcoholic, I was a drug addict, in every sense of the word, a criminal. I was a bad guy. I was a lowlife. I actually remember the moment that I decided to stop. It was about, date's right tattooed on my arm. It was December 20th, 2013. It was about 3 o'clock in the morning. And a friend of mine and my kid's mother and I, we'd been on a, typical bender. We'd been going for a few days, and we were in the basement of the public housing unit that my family and I were living in at the time, and I went upstairs to the fridge, go get another beer. And I walked by a mirror on the way to the fridge, and I caught a glimpse of myself passing by, and what I saw just broke me. I was a mess. I was gross. I looked sick. I was just the picture of a drug addict. And I mean, whatever snapped in my head at that time, it snapped hard, because I went and I poured out every drop of booze in the house. The plate of cocaine on the table that went right down the floor drain in the basement. I broke all my cigarettes. I freaked out. And I went to bed, and I remember saying to the two of them before I went to bed, I said, I'm done. That's what I said, I'm done. I went to bed, I woke up in the morning, and I was just different. I went and I registered for college. The next week, I joined the gym a month after, and that year was probably the most productive year of my life. I went to college. I'm a carpenter now. I started bodybuilding 9 months after I got sober. I was on stage, provincial championships, placed third in the lightweight category, and just, it's been 27 months now and I'm still going. You could say I'm making up for lost time, but I think a lot of it comes from, I've spent a lot of time, a lot of my life in institutions where, I had to eat the certain food anyway. I had to be in one place. I had to do things I didn't want to do. I'm conditioned to discomfort. I'm not afraid to be uncomfortable. So at this point, being willingly uncomfortable for a goal it's easy compared to being, trapped for so long.
Uncomfortable is an understatement for non-bodybuilders. Getting ready for a show is a lot of work.
Oh God, leading up to a show is intense. You're following the strictest diet. The diet it's the majority of it. They're not lying when they say 70% of training in bodybuilding is diet. So just imagine, you start anywhere from 3 to 5 months away from stage, which is, considerable amount of time, and you're eating the same 6 meals at the same 6 times every day. There's no variety there. It's pretty boring. You're eating chicken, fish, a lot of rice, oats, egg whites. It's, mustard's about as fun as it gets. So, and the training, you're in the gym upwards of 14 times a week. You're doing your cardio, you're going back later to train. My last prep, I was in the gym 3 times a day, because I was starting from nothing then. So I was in the gym 5 o'clock in the morning doing morning cardio. I was back again after class lifting weights, and then I was back again at 10 o'clock at night doing another hour of cardio. It's a little more relaxed this time. I'm down to training once a day for the next couple of weeks. But there's none of this 5 days a week rest day sort of stuff when it comes to prepping for a show. You're in there every day.
Luckily, on Craig's new path of fitness, he's not alone.
My girlfriend, she's a competitor as well, so we're kind of in the same boat. There's no fun to be had. There's no downtime. We're in the same boat. It affects your personal life to a degree that, when you're training for a show, you're cranky, so you're living with somebody else who's just as cranky. It can be a time for sure.
I've been training now for about 5 years. I got into the gym when I was 15 years old. I'm 20 right now. And yeah, ever since I got into the gym, I've been into the weights. I met Pat through the gym. I actually worked at the gym he started training at. I worked at Good Life Fitness. So yeah, we just kind of got chatty because I worked the front desk, and I saw him just chatting with another one of my coworkers, and basically we got chatting about our passion for fitness. And he told me his story, and I discussed how I was into competing, and from there we just kind of I don't know, started a bond, and now we're in a relationship. We are able to support each other. We kind of understand where each other's coming from, and I guess that can help us with our prep. Like, he's so strict with his meals and everything, but I kind of understand that, given that I've done a couple of shows before ever being in this relationship, so I know what it takes to actually prep, and I know how much like mental strength you need to have to actually like pursue that choice to compete.
Well, it's definitely nice to be able to relate, for sure. I mean, I can't imagine if I was not a competitor to live with somebody who was. I think would drive me insane.
Serrano says she sees Pat Craig for the man he is now, not for the man he was.
I obviously didn't know the person he was back then, so I mean, I don't know how bad or how he was back then, but what I knew was he was a good person now, and just to see, like, to know he made that change made me feel like he was worth getting to know, so.
For Craig, bodybuilding is a form of vindication and retribution.
It's proving myself, I guess you could say. I mean, it's fun being big, it's fun being strong. I mean, when I was locked up, I lifted weights. When I was a kid, I played sports and lifted weights. So that's always kind of been something I liked to begin with. But when it comes to competing, I mean, I did that first show. It was essentially sort of a bucket list sort of thing. I wanted to prove to everybody that I was clean, I was sober, and I was doing something. I mean, it's pretty hard for people to say you're still a meth addict and a cocaine addict when you're jacked and shredded and standing on stage, right? I mean, there's no mistake in that.
Craig hopes to pass along his life lessons onto other young men facing the same difficult situation he found himself in.
I do have this conversation with people that I've known in the past, and it happens on a regular basis because I'm told often, people reach out to me that are still in similar situations, and they say, how did you do it? And I can't really say how I did it, it just happened. But what I can say to them is, look what I'm doing, just do it, just grow up. It's not too late, just do it, you know?
Pat's very motivated, I guess. And I mean, this gives him something to like work towards. So rather than focusing on like all of his faults in the past, he's able to think about things he can improve on. And from that, he's able to use his improvements to help other people. Like, he's planning on taking this route of fitness into a career. And so he no longer has to worry about his past. He's able to think about how much he wants to improve his future.
This is a young man who has pulled himself out of a very dark place. No matter where life takes him, he is already a champion.
When I lay down in bed at night and I reach my hand out and I touch drywall, not stone, there's no better feeling in the world. There's not. I mean, when I lay down, I know I'm not going to wake up sick. It's amazing. Like, all the little things in life you used to take for granted, like just being able to fall asleep at night. It doesn't compare. It's all so new to me. I mean, I'm in my 27th month of being a normal human being, being a grown-up, being a man, and it hasn't got old yet.